This man took his life on his wife's grave after becoming obsessed with death and the paranormal. June 24th, 1953, at about 6 p.m., Cyril Thorne, a retired contractor, went to Hollywood Forever Cemetery. First, he stopped at the flower shop to purchase flowers for his first wife, Addie, who had died at the age of 38 only a few years before. He then drove to her grave near the center of the cemetery, bringing with him a photograph of himself and his current wife on their wedding day, as well as a briefcase that contained a carbon monoxide cylinder and mask. He also brought with him a stack of handwritten notes addressed to his current wife, the police, and relatives. After placing the flowers on Addie's grave, Cyril sat on the grass beneath a cedar tree about 10 feet away. He took the 14-inch cylinder of carbon dioxide out of his briefcase, attached the mask to his face, and turned on the gas. It wasn't until later that day when cemetery caretakers found him. Beside his body was the wedding photograph of himself with his current wife, Jean, and clutched in his hand was a love poem inscribed, "From Jean to Cy." All of the handwritten notes that were found with him expressed his eagerness to experience death and the afterlife. In the note to his current wife, Jean, he wrote, "You have been a very perfect, dependable, and lovely wife, and well deserved the very best from this chaotic fantasy we call life. My research into the study of psychic phenomena has brought me to the place where I am better than 50% convinced that death does not mean the end of this entity we call I. Therefore, in the light of this evidence, I will just say goodnight, Jean, until we meet again." The next note was written to the police and said, "I've been the most amused at these people who desire to continue living when their physical senses have sadly deteriorated. To me, it is an example of the tops in stupidity." The next note left readers shocked. It contained detailed instructions for his funeral service. He requested that his funeral be a non-religious service conducted by Dr. Hereward Carrington of the American Physical Institute, a well-known author and investigator of psychic phenomena, and that there be no music at the service other than waltzes in 3/4 time. He also requested that some light, tall object be placed on top of the coffin in full view of everyone. He said, "I will try to knock it off if I can. If I don't succeed, it will prove nothing of those of you who do not understand. If I do, it will prove much." Cyril was desperate to prove that the paranormal was real and wanted to use his funeral as proof. During the funeral, as Cyril requested, Dr. Carrington conducted the non-religious service with Cyril's wife, mother, and sister in attendance. Also, following Cyril's request, Dr. Carrington placed a cardboard cylinder and a plastic object on top of his coffin and urged Cyril's ghost to move it. As the 40 people in the chapel watched the plastic object and waited for 5 minutes in silence, according to the Times report on the service, the experimental devices remained as still as Cy himself. After the transition, Dr. Carrington told the crowd there must be a period of confusion, of disorientation to the new surroundings, which perhaps adversely affects attempts to perform such an experiment. As he sat next to Cyril's coffin, Dr. Carrington urged him again to try. He said, "Cy, we will now ask you to try to influence the objects as you said you would. Try, Cy." Again, the objects didn't move. Dr. Carrington then exclaimed, "It is of course hard to estimate the length of time that would be fair for an experiment such as this. We could sit here for an hour and nothing would happen, and in the next moment, something might happen. Who can say?" And although his theories weren't proven to be true at his funeral, a cold chill and bizarre energy can be felt at his grave. And whether or not that stands as proof of the existence of the paranormal, what we can confirm is that Cyril is no longer here with us physically, but that doesn't mean he's not here with us spiritually. May Cyril and Addie rest in peace.